It's great to be back in the UK, and I think it's a good time of the year because people have maybe thought about, their New Year's resolutions or the things like, okay, what do I want to focus on this season? In the US, surprisingly, it seems like you got to start that process earlier and earlier. So I think for me, it always helps to think about what did I enjoy about the last season? What kind of things do I want to work on, or is there something that I haven't done race-wise that, okay, I want to push my boundaries a little bit? And so for, I think, a lot of newer ultra runners or even veterans, it's like, what's going to get you out of bed to be training, to, get out there when you're just kind of like, now that we're 3 weeks into the new year, a lot of times, people get like, oh yeah, that was great when I thought about it in December, but how am I going to keep that going? So I think it's finding things that are going to keep you fired up. And it's okay to change that too. A lot of times you don't have the ability to change a race because you signed up for something and everything else is full. But I think it's good to think about what any retooling that needs to happen right now at this time of year, because you don't want to be in June and being like, oh, I just can't motivate. So what's going to get you out of bed? What's going to get you excited about training? And sometimes it doesn't have to be a race. I often recommend to people, maybe it's that route you want to do. A lot of times, you could be maybe it's a combination of road and trail, and maybe it's I'm going to run from my hometown to whatever town, and I'm going to combine trails or networks of things and just kind of make it an adventure run. Or maybe it's that loop in the mountains somewhere more picturesque or more challenging, rugged, that's going to get you excited. So it doesn't always have to be sometimes people get bummed about races, and I know maybe in the UK too, things fill up, or you got to wait, it's got to be a lottery and you don't get into your first choice. So I think trying to find something that's going to still be exciting for you, because sometimes be oh, I really want to do that certain mountain race that people never hardly ever get in. It's oh, you wait 5 years for it. So don't be afraid to make it a running challenge or an adventure run versus a race, because I think sometimes that can be hard. It's a good problem to have when races are filling up and the sport's growing, but it can also be really frustrating, and people can get kind of down on that. The other thing too, I would say, is maybe there's elements, whether, think outside the box. It's not just maybe training. What can you do for strengthening? What can you do maybe on the nutrition front? Setting good goals that are going to help you, maybe it's getting more sleep, maybe it's work-life balance kind of thing. So it's not so much maybe about the mileage and the actual running training, what can you do to make it more of a holistic package?
That's really interesting. You're the first person who said that.
No, although, and that's what I love about running right now too, is that people are thinking more and more about that. Okay, yeah, holistic, and that's, I think, better for long-term health too, because I think at the end of the day, we run because we love to explore places, we love to be out in the mountains outdoors, but it's also we want to be able to run and be healthy and active throughout our life, and what's sustainable for a lifestyle. So I think about all those pieces.
So I definitely would pick a race that interested me. There has to be something about it that I think is going to be fun or challenging. I don't really like boring races. There has to be another motivation to want to do it. And a don't would be, this is quite hard because sometimes I do races and then I realise that I actually never want to do them again by doing it. So it's a bit of trial and error, and sometimes it's because, for example, I did CCC last year and found there was too much walking in it for my liking, so I know to pick more runnable races because it suits me a bit better.
Yeah, so trial and error.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, thank you.
So what I would do is I pick something that scares me a little, that makes me a little bit nervous, a little bit apprehensive beforehand, because then it seems like more of a challenge. Yeah.
And what would you definitely not do?
Not do. Maybe it's the opposite of that. I wouldn't do something that feels too much within my comfort zone, because I think the thing about ultras is pushing yourself a little bit. So I think it's important to push yourself. Otherwise, you take it too easy and you kind of turn up expecting to finish. And when you turn up to expect to finish, you often don't finish. You know, it's the wrong attitude, sort of.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that.
I would say personally for me, when I pick a race, I want to pick a race where I'm going to be competitive. That might not be the same for everyone else. I like to pick a course which I'm going to know that I'm going to run fast in. So the Autumn 100 was very specific for me because I knew it was a reasonably flat-ish course. And I also really love Centurion races because their checkpoints are amazing. There's loads of them. I don't need to worry about carrying loads of stuff. I know I'm going to be looked after. That's really important, I think, for any race. And I mean, for some people, price is going to be an option as well. You need to look at that. I think Centurion are really reasonable for what you get as well. So for me, it was about being competitive. I was looking for a flat race because I wanted to run fast and I really wanted to be looked after. And the other thing as well is thinking about time of year you want to be racing, because obviously you need to think about maybe weather conditions and also the training going into that race. Do you want to be training in summer or do you want to train in winter? I think especially if it's your first ultra, maybe don't do anything too crazy because it might put you off. Or then I guess equally some people might love it, but I mean your first ultra being, you know, a crazy 100-miler and technical that you've never done anything like that before may not be such a good idea. So maybe start with something a little bit smaller, friendly, again that you've got all the checkpoints. So look for all of those things, I would definitely say.
For me, it's got to be something that aligns with my my personal values, which sounds quite a strange sort of thing. So it's got to be something that, from the very outset, looks difficult, but it must be doable because if someone's done it. It's got to be something that is in a difficult location. So an extreme for me, I like extremes of temperature, either hot or cold. I like long distance because I think, in a strange way, that I think you can really get into a long distance event. For me, a short, sharp event just isn't my thing. I like an adventure, and I think that's why an ultra event, it kind of fits in with what I like to do. You know, it's an adventure, it's something you're emulating to do. It's not going to be easy, and that's why I look into a race and go, yep, I'm going to do that one. I wouldn't pick something that, on the face of it, I think, yeah, I can do that. There's got to be, I think, an element of, I don't know. I'm going to have to put the training in. I'm going to have to be massively out of my comfort zone, because otherwise I don't see the benefit afterward. You know, afterward you tend to reflect on things. So whenever I've done something and I've thought, I wasn't ever sure if I could do it, I've done it, and oh boy, I've learned a lot there. And I think also, if you can come out of an event and disseminate that information to other people that might not get, you know, they want to do something, but they'll talk themselves out of it. If they look at you and go, hang on a minute, if he did it, maybe I could do that as well. So I think when I look at an event, it's not got to be easy. It's got to be difficult. And the good thing, I think, now with events, there's something for everyone. If it's a 5k park run, someone might be like, I don't know. You know, but then if it's a 5-6 day ultra marathon, again, you don't know. So yeah, I think for me, it's got to be something difficult.
So subscribe free on YouTube and follow me on Instagram for more gear tests and training advice. I also have a book out too for everything you need to know about trail running in one handy package, including more gear advice, nutrition tips, recipes, ways to beat injury, and training plans from 10k to 50k. Check it out here.